Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing today? Well, baby, if your name is Jonathan Oddi, everybody is wondering where the bejesus, where actually are you? Now, I know when I last left you guys, there was a little something going on, there was a deletion hoax that had Jonathan Oddi's name. I know a lot of people wanted to jump in and be like, you guys, everybody calm down. He has a court date. He has to be alive. To which everybody that had a thinking mind was like, you sure about that? You sure about that? Are you sure about that? Because when you looked at the court docket, which go check my live out if you want to see the paperwork, there was literally no less than 35 pages of court appearances. The only thing is, in all those 35 pages, it is going on 6 years. This happened in, I believe, May of 2018. And he has not gotten past the first level, which was charges being dropped. So I remember saying, y'all, there's something wrong about the Jonathan Oddi case. The first, which is, oddly enough, there was a deletion hoax all over the internet saying Jonathan Oddi passed away in a car wreck, even though, like I said in the live, when you went and clicked on the links, because you know your girl investigates Scooby-Doo mystery, Nancy Drew, do what it do. When you click on the lives and you do all that other stuff, it's like just nothing makes sense. There was somebody talking in a language I didn't understand, and nothing made sense. It did seem like it was like some weird internet hoax. The only thing is, these weird internet hoaxes only happen for somebody famous. At the end of the day, nobody knew who Jonathan Oddi was. Well, I'm not going to say nobody, but I didn't know who Jonathan Oddi was until we looked into it. Okay. But then I delved, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, this is just an internet hoax. Okay, dummy, we get it. Now let's dig a little deeper, right? The weird thing is that when you actually went to the official state attorney's page, right? I believe Catherine is her name, was a state attorney of Florida at the time. She listed Jonathan Oddi as deceased. And when I looked into that, I said, okay, something's going on. That I'm just bringing you guys up to date if you guys don't know who Jonathan Oddi is. He was the original person that accused Diddy, right, along with Cassie, of and exposed their FO parties. Now, we now know that, of course, Cassie was not a willing participant by the letter of the law. She ended up suing Diddy. Diddy maintains his innocence, but baby, he opened up that checkbook, and literally Cassie was walking away whistling, make his pockets hurt. She literally got, again, I don't want to make light of it. Nothing can ever make you whole after experiencing something like that for anybody, not just Cassie, but at least she got financially compensated, which was something. It was small, but it was something. He was the original person that did a police interview. I put that up on my channel, where he was saying that Diddy and Cassie were involved in F-Alls, had him involved. Sean Combs was out of his mind, and the fact that Sean Combs was moving weight through his private jets, along with Rick Ross and DJ Khaled. Okay, now he then went in and went crazy in the Chump Doral hotel. The interesting thing is everybody, even the police chiefs, I mean, the head of communications at the police, when they get the press conference, all said the same thing about it. It was super odd because it looked like he wasn't trying to hurt civilians. It was an ambush for the police. Okay. So then I started driving deeper, and I'm like, but why would you be trying to ambush the police? Like, what? It doesn't make any sense. Turns out that the police chief and a lot of the police officers, some rumored somewhere between 13 and 16 of the officers were clients of Jonathan Oddi. Just like Diddy was a client of what? Well, he worked for the Dancing Bear. The Dancing Bear was a P they were P stars that also were in, you could rent them out as escorts. The police chief and police officers of that same place were Jonathan Oddi's customers. Now, here's the story of what happened, okay? And then we're going to get into why he is officially missing, okay? So the thing is with Jonathan Oddi, everybody said he was a super nice guy, super sweet guy. He used to be married to a lawyer, okay? At one time, okay, he had negative 1,800 net worth. He was overdrawn in his bank by 1,800. Oh, those were the golden times where a bank would let you be overdrawn $1,800. Okay. So what happened? He actually sued Diddy and it was settled. Within 1 month of him suing Diddy, go ahead and watch my old video for the details of all the paperwork and stuff. Within 1 month or around 1 month of him suing Diddy and settling, he went from a net worth of negative $1,800 to buying 4 to 5 properties in cash for about 769,000. I don't know if that's how much each property was worth individually, or if he bought it all as a group deal for 769,000. The point of the matter is, and even the Miami Herald, which is I think a newspaper, right? A big newspaper down in Miami, questioned when he was arrested. How did someone that was basically broke, go within a month's time from being negative 1,800 in your bank account to buying 5 properties in cash? Buying 5 properties. It leads us to believe that he somehow settled with Diddy. Okay. So anyway, he was arrested. When he was arrested, he appeared in front of a judge. I have the video, and he was taken alive. However, he not only named Diddy, Rick Ross, but he named a bunch of powerful people. Jonathan Oddi, all the naysayers on YouTube, the people that want, and this is my issue. Yes, I'm going to say this. It's not enough to point out a flaw. Anybody with a thinking mind actually adds to the conversation. We can all point out flaws, but how are you moving this along? A lot of people thought it was case over because he had a court date, I believe January 9th. You know, mama was sitting there. I was sitting there eating leftover cranberry turkey sandwiches, waiting for January 9th to roll around so I could actually see what's what. Because truth be told, nobody's seen Jonathan Oddi for a while. And a lot of people have a bunch of reasons about why, where he is. Oh my God, I just checked the Department of Florida State and they say he's an inmate. The only problem is when you call to actually see this, can you get on the visitation list, right? No, nothing happens. Second of all, okay, he's in the computer saying that he is an inmate, but had nobody seen him for 11 years. On top of that, the Florida State Attorney has listed him as deceased. And before y'all say it's a typo, I brought you guys evidence to show other people that the Florida State Attorney has listed as deceased in the official police report. And guess what? They actually are deceased. So again, I ask of ye, where the F is Jonathan Oddi? Now, before we get into like my PowerPoint presentation, because you know mama loves a good PowerPoint presentation, let me just point out 2 things, right? One, just like every other court date he's had since 2018, just like every other court date that he's had since 2018. Well, actually, I want to say, 2019. He has not made an appearance. His lawyer has. He switched lawyers multiple times. Prosecutions has been switched multiple times. And again, he has not gone in front of a judge. Now, here's the real thing, and I'm going to show you the PowerPoint presentation. Some of you guys are like, Batista, you realize that if he shot up the thing, maybe he's mentally ill. Maybe he's in some type of mental treatment facility. That doesn't really hold because he actually is in the Miami-Dade, Southwest County, like whatever, right? Detention center. But I investigated a little bit too. And I said, for him to actually be and saying, okay, so if he's been deemed mentally ill, right? His lawyer would have asked for a mental evaluation. The mental evaluation would have had to come back with something. And if it come back for something, they would deem him not fit to stand trial. However, if you watch my old video, I actually looked into the Florida State, statutes for how you treat a mentally ill person or someone that is deemed not fit to stand trial. Every 6 months, there must be a new evaluation. On top of that, all this will be in the court docket. On top of that, you know what? Let's just get into my PowerPoint presentation because I'm giving away the cow. I'm just gonna give y'all some milk. Okay. He is officially missing. This is Jonathan Oddi. Now, I know what y'all saying. Ew, how can this be Diddy's F off person? First of all, he's in a police interrogation. I want to see how y'all look in a police interrogation because I look rougher than this when I'm running to the grocery store. But honestly, too, he was Diddy's alleged, according to him, freak off person back in 2012, 2014. This is 2018. Yes, he had a rough paper route, but it is what it is. Okay. This is him when he was arrested. This is him actually showing up in court when he was getting arraigned. If you don't know what the arraign is, he was held in police custody, of course, in the criminal court system. And then he had to go in front of the judge to get, sorry guys, it's been a rough week. He had to go in front of the judge to get two things. One, well, he had to get charges brought up against him, okay? And two, he had to get a bail set. This is the man that everybody's saying is so cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs that the reason we haven't seen him for how many years, right? I have more evidence. Let me just get through this. Y'all know I love a good Scooby-Doo reveal, right? The reason we haven't seen him for umpteen million years is because he's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Now, if anybody knows anything about the law, I'm about to play this video in a second. Just hear me out. You know that to be declared mentally ill is an incredibly high precedence. They don't just give that out like candy. You just can't go in and be like, put your shoe on your head and be like, oh, me love zombies. You can't do that. And the judge talks and you're like, Jesus, is that you? No, Lord, devil, leave me alone. You cannot do that in a court of law and be declared mentally ill, at least not fit to stand trial, so that you stay in a mental institution. And when you finally do stand trial, you get time served. It is such an incredibly high standard to reach because, baby, if you could reach it, do you know how many psychopath serial killers will be like, me cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and then hope to get into a mental facility and then they can get out for time served? I'm just saying, it's a whole different world. So the fact that you need to do that, those court evaluations, but usually people that are either trying to fake, right? Or look at, if you guys don't watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Tom Girardi, he wasn't trying to act like he was mentally ill, but he was trying to act like he had like Alzheimer's or some type of mental cognitive decline. And he was put on the show for like 2 years walking around. Jesus, is that you? Looking like three blind mice, just walking around looking crazy. The judge was sitting there, letting him put on that act for 2 years until finally he was like, yeah, you're competent to stand trial, because he had to be mentally evaluated. He put off the mental evaluation for as long as he could. It's a court-appointed psychiatrist. You already know the court-appointed psychiatrist don't want to hear nothing you got to say. It's a court-appointed psychiatrist, and this court-appointed psychiatrist comes back and then they tell, okay? But again, you can kind of tell if somebody is a little bit mentally off just by the way they appear in their arraignment. Here we go.
And I don't think I didn't see necessarily the alarm pushing, but that might I did push alarm.
It's not specifically mentioned here, although.
Okay, just to stop right there. So he was like, I guess he's honest to a fault. This is another mystery behind Jonathan Oddi. He is honest to a fault. The way he said, no, I pulled the alarm. But then when the court started laughing, he started laughing too, but he had to hide a smile. Even the judge started laughing. Again, look at his demeanor. This is back from 2018, okay? Everybody likes to show this clip. Oh no, this is proof he's still here. The same judge is on this case, but this is Jonathan Oddi from 2018. Look at his demeanor.
Okay. Sir, everything's being recorded, just so you know. If you want to speak, it's fine. I'm happy to listen. Your attorney turned the microphone off, though. Probably a wise move. All right.
Okay. Now, anybody that knows anything about legal stuff too, again, I'm getting to the big reveal, but anybody that knows anything about legal stuff too, this is the thing that's so off about what's going on with Jonathan Oddi. You know that he implicated a lot of powerful people. You know that he was a boy toy plaything, according to him, of a lot of powerful people. The fact that he's now in court, he seems completely sane. He's trying to say something to the judge. Okay. The lawyer turns his microphone off. The judge still looks at him condescendingly. I'm going to listen to anything you have to say. Right? He's talking. Nobody can hear him. This is akin to what they did with Britney Spears. And she said, but unfortunately, your lawyer turned your microphone off, which is probably a good idea. First of all, that is a violation of his constitutional rights. Second of all, your lawyer is to represent you, not to silence you in a court of law. Already the vibes are off. Things are moving really, really weird. Now you can argue, oh, the lawyer did the right thing. But at the end of the day, would you be okay with being silenced by your lawyer? Especially when Jonathan Oddi, this is the day after he had gotten questioned by the police and had all this mess to say about the wealthy elite of the area. But hold on.
One, I'm going to find probable cause for 5 counts of attempted murder on a law enforcement officer, I believe, based on the fact that it mentions officers together with the security guard. There's more than one. There's more than, I think, 3.
That'd be over defense objection, and also as far as the security guard goes, there might be an aggravated assault, but there's not a firearm discharge or anything specifically as to the security guard. Then necessarily,
if that's correct, then I'm going to find probable cause as to 4 counts of attempted second-degree murder on a law enforcement officer, and I'm setting a bond on count 1. What bond are you seeking? Because I don't think 20,000 is high enough.
These are non-bondable offenses. At least the armed burglary with an assault, battery therein while armed with a firearm, that's a non-bondable. The attempted second-degree murder on a law enforcement officer with a firearm amounts to a non-bondable on those counts. However, I would be seeking $1 million bond on those counts.
Now, the reason we're watching all this through is because a lot of people were saying that Jonathan Oddi, after that interview where he was Chatty Cathy, they had him heavily sedated a la Britney Spears. But I wanted to show this to you guys for you guys to actually be the judge. It's almost over. Hold on.
On the burglary with assault, battery therein, and $1 million bond on the attempted murders on the police officer.
As to count 1, count 1, attempted second-degree murder of a law enforcement officer, the bond is $1 million. Count 2, attempted second-degree murder of the law enforcement officer, $1 million bond.
Really quick, you guys, I just want to say thank you to Lovejoy87. Thank you for becoming a member of the channel, Lovejoy.
Count 3, attempted second-degree murder of a law enforcement officer, it's a $1 million bond. And count 4 will be a $1 million bond. Count 5, ROR, or unless you want $1 bond on that.
That's a $5,000 bond.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, count 5, I'm not finding probable cause for the 5th count. Do you want $1 bond or do you want ROR, Mr. Ugarte?
I'd ask for the dollar bonds.
Okay, dollar bond for count 5.
Now, even though he is
firearm is a 75.
Heavily sedated, if you look at him, this is again from 2018. He's still alert. He's following the judge. He's following the conversation. The lawyer wouldn't let him speak, turned his microphone off. So now he's just like, let this all be over. And I know I would too if my lawyer, if the judge was like $1 million bond, $1 million, I'd be like, oh my God, hold on.
$500 bond, there's probable cause for that charge. Count 7, armed burglary with an assault or a battery, it's an assault. No bond. Count 8, armed criminal mischief. It's actually, I thought if it's a burglary with the criminal mischief, it's greater than 1,000, it's non-bondable. I don't know if state. The criminal mischief with damages greater than $1,000 during the course of a burglary should be no bond. So count 8 is no bond. Count 9, armed grand theft. It doesn't specific. Oh, it says it mentions the flag.
He was on with the firearm as he stole the flag.
It's a $7,500 bond for count 9, and count 10. I didn't see any mention about. Oh, he admitted it. Count 10. The fire alarm is $5,000. Sir, I'm ordering that you stay away from the Trump National Doral Hotel at 4100 Northwest 87th Avenue.
Okay, right? Again, just to refresh you guys, it says during the last brief court appearances in 2018, he admitted to pulling a fire alarm at the resort, drawing laughter. The judge did say your attorney turned the mic off. Probably a wise move. Again, Jonathan Oddi was supposed to be so sedated. It was supposed to be on some Britney Spears stuff when he actually didn't know what he was saying. But let's continue, okay? Because this is why people think that he is officially missing. Again, even on this mugshot they put out, this is the official mugshot. Tell me the police didn't want us to believe that he wasn't cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. We saw him in the whole interview talking, doing this, doing that, giving big detail. But all of a sudden, you want to take a picture of him with his mouth open, looking like mouth breather. Come on, y'all. We get it. We get it. We get it. Right? Anyway, just to give you a little bit more, they said we don't know what his intentions were in the long term, but we know that he was doing what he was doing at the time. He was trying to engage our police officers in some kind of ambush type attack. They said that he was neutralized and taken into custody, where it's not over. This is where he lived, 8100 Kalahanda, like whatever. Drive. So this is the state attorneys, okay? We're setting things up to show you what's going on now. This is directly from the state attorney. She was writing something to the chief of police. The chief of police was then found to have been a customer of Oddi's escort agency that dealt with men that were buff. He was buff at one time. Diddy would know something about that. This was on April the 2nd, 2019, okay? A year after this took place, this was the official report by Catherine Fernandez Rundle, okay? It was to Catherine Fernandez Rundle. She signed off on it. It was from the review team. It was directly from the state attorney's office, the 11th Judicial Circuit. It was dated April 2nd, 2019. Police shooting closeout memo, deceased, Jonathan Oddi. Again, you might be saying, oh my God, this could be any Jonathan Oddi, but when you actually read the paperwork, it tells everything that happened prior to police arrival. He fired shots toward the lounge, ceiling, and chandelier of the hotel lobby. He was draped in the American flag. You heard them in the court thing talking about the American flag. The Trump National Doral Miami Hotel. So this is definitely the same Jonathan Oddi that they are saying it is deceased. You can go straight to, just put in Jonathan Oddi and put in Catherine Fernandez Rundle's name. It will bring you to this document. It's on the official state website. This is not doctored or photoshopped. This is the original document saying that he is deceased, okay? This is a scene right outside the Trump Doral. When he was there, they said that they were actually looking for Trump. He was looking for Trump, or at least yelling, Trump's a crook, Trump's a liar, Trump's a thief. You know, the things people usually yell about Trump, okay? Anyway, right? It was the police shooting closeout memo. So again, like I pointed out, the first person to actually point out that he was deceased was the actual state attorney of Florida. However, when you get into the charges, okay, there's an assessment amount of $50 and a balance due of $50. Because when I was like, okay, where's Jonathan Oddi? He has court date, but nobody's seen him for a while. Why for 6 years has a court date? They haven't even gone through this. They haven't even finished discovery. They haven't even gone through evidence. So why is a court date still almost 6 years later, still going on? Well, one of the things are, well, you know what, Tisa? He probably had some type of assessment. If you guys don't know what that is, that's when, again, you try to act crazy or you actually are crazy. And you have to pay for a state psychiatrist to sit down and assess you and see if you are fit to stand trial. A lot of people do that too. Delay trial. Excuse me, guys. Long day. A lot of people do that to delay trial. A lot of people do that to try to get over. A lot of people do that out of necessity. this was one of the things why people said. So I saw the $50 assessment amount and I said, wait a second. If an assessment was $50, because I went to the Florida state, and apparently if you are locked up and you prove that you're indignant, which means that you don't have enough money to pay your court costs, sometimes they will give you a very low assessment fee. I looked on the state website. The assessment fee is $50. He owes $50. The balance due is $50. It made me think, so you were assessed for something, and whatever it was, either you didn't have the money to pay or you didn't like the answer that came back. So you let that go, right? I mean, at this point, owing the state $50 is the least of his worries. Again, this is his mugshot when he was from the side, okay? Now, this trial date that everybody swore was supposed to happen. This trial date, and again, this is up here, when I was like, I bet you $1,000 million this trial date is not going to happen. If you saw the last time we saw it, it's at November 28th. A prosecutor was assigned. He's gone through 1 million prosecutors. It says November 9th, status set for 11/29. They set the trial status. If you guys don't know, that's when you go and you're like, okay, we're going to set the date to start like all the proceedings. This was supposed to happen on January 4th, 2024. January 4th came and went. However, there was a status set for January 11th. So I was sitting there saying, listen, where the hell is Jonathan Oddi? At this point, we need proof of life. At best case scenario, he's in witness protection. Worst case scenario, I don't know. Maybe that memo the state attorney tried to put out saying he was deceased actually meant something, okay? So we're at January 11th, 2000, supposed to be 9 a.m., right? Status was set. But look what happened. January 11th, 2024, right? They want a report by the defense attorney set for March 5th, 2024. So let's get this straight. He had trial date set for January 11th. It came and went. He did not show up, right? You could say he's being kept in custody, but we'll get to that. His defense attorney did not show up. And the judge just said, you want a report by the defense attorney, okay, about what's going on in the case. And also, it should be pointed out that right here, where did I lose it? Hold on. Here we go. One thing that a lot of people overlooked, on October 18th of 2023, there was an appointment for them to set to make a possible plea deal. You do not make plea deals with somebody that is mentally ill. You just can't, because they are not of sound mind or body to accept a plea deal. That was my second tip off, besides the $50 that, like, okay, he's been assessed, and we cannot say that the reason we have not seen him is because he is mentally ill, okay? So that was on November 18th. They're trying to work out a plea deal. Again, mentally ill people cannot take, offer, or accept plea deals. They just can't. It's impossible. You can't get the set. Okay. So where are we at now? Now, on the 11th, they want a report set by the defense attorney. We're assuming to actually say what the plea deal's for and what they're willing to offer. It's unclear because plea deals, of course, are confidential until they are signed and written into record. But here's the really interesting thing, which led people to believe that Jonathan Oddi is officially missing. Something is going on. Something is off with this mess. Hold on, y'all. All right. This is just a zoom in case y'all was doubting me. Again, you can look up these records yourself. Just put in Jonathan Oddi, Florida, court documents in Google. This will come up. Again, nothing has been doctored. Nothing has been photoshopped. This is the real. I would take you to the site, but I don't want y'all seeing what's on my laptop because, got pictures of my dog and stuff there. Okay, so anyway, right? Interesting thing. Again, Florida State Attorney has listed him as deceased. There was a hoax on. Remember I told you about that $50 assessment? And I said, okay, because there were a bunch of lawyers. Thank you, lawyer Tattle Tells, for being like, no, you don't understand. He's probably been ruled that he's unfit to stand trial. And he is literally just in a mental institution serving time. And when he finally goes up into the judge, the defense attorney is going to ask for time served. It's a common deal. I said, yeah, maybe. But the thing is, the lawyers that were giving me the advice, they didn't look into the docket. Not saying they should have, because, they're busy actually saving their own clients. It's my job to be nosy and look into this docket. Except for this thing. On, December 17th of 2020, okay? Actually, let me make sure I got the time right. Hold on, y'all. Actually, on December 17th, 2020, there was a mental evaluation set for January 7th, 2021 at 9 o'clock. On December 17, 2020, they also made order to appoint and pay expert for comprehensive evaluation of defendant for mental illness. The expert was supposed to be Sandra Klein. On November 7th, they made another order to appoint and pay expert for comprehensive evaluation of defendant for mental illness, Dr. Moore. Now, I thought this was very, very odd that it's like, why do they keep cycling looking for different psychiatrists? Then I was like, I don't know, maybe because you get a discount. They actually don't care. Again, order an appointment and to pay expert for comprehensive evaluation of defense for mental illness, Dr. Dara Bowden. Okay. Now, on the 7th, they had a psychological evaluation was made by Dr. Sandra Klein. Okay. It was all made. They also had a psychological evaluation by Dara Bowden. Apparently, the defense was like, no. We want to get our own version of the evaluation just in case it didn't turn out as planned. So what ended up happening from this? From the man, this is the only excuse. This is the only excuse on why he's had all these trial dates and we have not seen hide nor hair from him, even though the state attorney listed him as deceased. And of course, there was that death hoax on the internet a couple of weeks ago, to which I will say this. Nobody believed that death hoax. Everybody can click on the link. Nobody's dumb. But the one thing that did come from that death hoax is something we should all pay attention to. It's not the point about whether Jonathan Oddi had passed away. It was the point of who wants us to believe that he passed away, who wanted a casual observer that literally had the analytical skills of a hamster to just look and be like, oh, like whatever. Who wasn't going to dig deep enough? Again, whoever put that on the internet, fine. But we cannot deny that the first person to start the deletion hoax was the state attorney general of Florida. And by the way, this is official. He's never been changed from the state attorney's records from being deceased, even though, according to other records, he has been in a correctional facility. Okay. And just to let you guys know, well, I'll show you the evidence later. So what was this? On March the 5th, 2000. Hold on, y'all. My little nephew just texted me. 1 second. Hold on. Love that little guy. Sorry, guys. Love that little guy. Okay, so anyway, right? Back to where I was talking about, okay? Let's get back to the maybe deceased person, okay? So you will notice on March 4th, 2021, a trial date was set for April 21st, 2021. But even more important, you see on March the 4th, 2021, a status conference was checked. If you know anything about legal comings and goings, status conferences are very, very important. They literally set the calendar for what? When a status conference is set, if it is made and if both people attend, that lets you know that they are starting the process of trial, setting discovery, setting this, that. Again, each trial has its own schedule. That's how you make sure that people aren't on trial for 3 years. There is literally status set for, okay, this is when we're going to do the cross-examine. This is when you're going to do this. This is when we're going to do direct. Everything is finally orchestrated, or else this could go on forever. But the interesting thing is, on March 5th, 2021, right? There was an order judging the defendant to be competent. Again, there was an order judging Jonathan Oddi to be competent to stand trial. So that little thing about the reason nobody's seen him, the reason it's been taking 6 years is because maybe, he's like, I'm not being flippant about mental health issues, but basically saying he's reenacting One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest no longer holds weight. Why? Because he was already evaluated. What is it? He was already evaluated 3 or 4 years ago. And on the 21st of March, 2021, March 4th, he was deemed to be competent to stand trial. Since then, he has not been evaluated, and he is deemed to be competent to set trial. So why hasn't he gone to trial yet? And more importantly, where is he? Jonathan Oddi knew a lot. This is another thing I pulled up just in case you guys are like, well, maybe the state attorney just puts deceased. Because there's the thing, when I research stuff, I like to lift up every rock, okay? When the state attorney put deceased, right? It made me think, well, maybe it defies logic, but it's Florida, right? It defies logic, but it's Florida. And I said, you know what? Maybe they just put deceased as some weird thing, and deceased just means like your freedom is deceased. Thoughts and prayers to you ever seeing the outside world again, thoughts and prayers. But no, I found this person, right? This was for Jamie Ezekiel Robles, right? Jamie Ezekiel Robles. He was also listed as deceased, okay? Now, interestingly enough, okay, when you actually research Jamie Ezekiel, he was actually, right? Girlfriend ID's second suspect who was shot and deleted in Miami Springs Hotel. Jamie Robles was shot and deleted by officers Tuesday in a hotel room in Miami Springs. Miami-Dade detective dies days after shooting involving, okay, right? So we have all that. So what does this tell us, you guys? It tells us where the hell is Jonathan Oddi? No, for real. I know a lot of people were like, oh, he's in prison. Is he? At best, he is in some type of witness protection. At worst, who knows what's going on? But I find it very interesting that the original person that told us about Diddy's FOs, 6 years after, right? 6 years. My time, right? 2008. Yeah, he told us about it 6 years ago. Cassie just filed her lawsuit when? Cassie just filed her lawsuit in 2023. Again, where is Jonathan Oddi? People are saying that Jonathan Oddi actually is officially missing. If you talk to the jail says he's in custody, but nobody has seen hide nor hear of this man in how many years? And the last time he was even seen is when they ordered that mental evaluation in 2020, 2021. I think he made an appearance before the court. Outside of that, nobody has seen hide nor hear of that man, right? Maybe he is in witness protection, but you have to ask yourself then, and this is the important question, what is he in witness protection for? Sorry, guys. You have to ask yourself, if he's in witness protection, what is that man in witness protection for? Honestly, because his whole interview, or at least they said, right? His whole interview was actually taped. And I'm talking about his police interrogation. So this whole police interrogation was taped, okay? And if we heard everything, because that's what they said, unless you're keeping something secret, and he had to stand in court, his lawyer turned his microphone off. The judge he went in front of is that one judge that's always going viral for stuff. The only thing is, I mean, she is a judge in Florida, so maybe crazy stuff just be happening, right? He's the first person told us about Diddy moving weight. Rick Ross, his clients were the police chief, other police officers. He literally was in that area and doing stuff when like the Jeffrey Epstein stuff was going down. Again, what would he be in witness protection for? Unless, what? What would he be? Unless they didn't show us the whole police interrogation, but they said it was. Now, again, who could he have been snitching on? Who, what, like, seriously, what? Where is this guy? And the fact that everybody was like, I think this is why they keep putting court dates, because every single time people are like, yo, where's Jonathan Oddi? Anytime anybody asks that, a new court date comes up. And then everybody is just, well, not everybody, but people are like, well, he must be in court because, you know, he has a docket. And oh, you guys, calm down. He literally each year is supposed to be in court no less than 5 or 6 times. They kick it down the road 2-3 months, 2-3 months, 2-3 months. They've been doing this for 5-6 years. He has been held competent to stand trial. He is not in a mental institution. He has been mentally evaluated as competent. Where's this guy? Again, now we're paying attention. But now what? March, he's going to go in front of the judge. And I bet you $10 billion. He ain't going in front of the judge in March. They're going to find another reason. They've been doing discovery on this mess. They've been doing discovery on this trial for over 6 years. Any lawyers in the chat? Let me know when the last time discovery took 6 years. On top of that, he was in the lobby of the Trump Doral Hotel. The lobby of the Trump Doral Hotel can only hold so many people. They have subpoenaed over 500 people for this case. That's originally their excuse about why this was taking so long, for us to see where this mofo is. Oh, we're still in discovery. We're still subpoenaing people. Okay, 500 people? 500 people can't even be held in the lobby of the Trump Doral. Even all those 500 people have all gotten back to the prosecutors, and they've all given either their depots, their affidavits, whatever it is, they have given the information. So once they got past, okay, there's nobody else we can subpoena. Again, how did 500 people fit in that lobby? But maybe you're subpoenaing people that were actually staying at the hotel. Fine. They got through pretty much all 500 people. Again, this docket is 35 pages. Once they got past subpoenaing 500 people, which is unheard of, especially when 1, they have a videotape, 2, it was police officers involved, and 3, this mofo, as you saw, was sitting in court talking about, I did it. She's in a mess. I guess that's a freeing feeling, right? You did it. You're dead to rights. There's no reason to lie anymore. You're just sitting there like, yeah, I did that too. Next question, right? But all jokes aside, you have videotape. You have police officers involved. And you know, anytime police officers involved, they don't care. You could be like, they were trying to blank me. And they'll be like, so you should have let the officer blank you. You're going to jail, sir, right? Sorry, guys. On top of that, right? On top of that, so why did you subpoena 500 people? But then if you did, all 500 people got back to you. 35 pages of dockets. Then you finally have to get to trial. Then you're like, oh, well, you know what? Let's see if he's mentally competent. Okay, he comes back mentally competent. Okay, so what now? Oh, okay, well, you know, trial date's set in 2 months. 2 months later, nothing. Oh, no, 3 more months. Okay, nothing. 6 more months, nothing. Again, where's Jonathan Oddi? The state attorney says he's deceased, right? We can't even get him to even make a court date. Hold on. Sorry, guys. The hell? Anyway, we can't even get him to make a court date, okay? We can't get him to do any of this stuff. So again, where the hell is Jonathan Oddi? Yeah, everything's fine. Sorry, guys. I'm just sorry. Y'all know I just be getting spooky. If I hear if I hear anything move, I'm just like the spirits. The spirits are here. Y'all, if y'all don't know me, but I'm the most scary person. And the other day I watched a horror film against my will. I'm not really into that. So that's why I don't even like scary movies, because when I watch scary movies, I'd be on red alert. Literally, something could like drop on the floor, and I'll be like, I don't play about that. So anyway, right? Diddy Spirit, listen. Again, I just got to say, where the hell is Jonathan? He's officially missing. And I bet you if I keep doing updates on all of Jonathan Oddi's court dates, I guarantee you we will be sitting here on live this time in 2025, and he still won't have a court date. Y'all, listen, everything's been exhausted. And I know it sounds unbelievable, but when you take off everything that's probable off the table, he's not being held in a mental institution. He's been deemed competent for trial. All the witnesses are there. Everything. They have videotape. Where is he? Where is he? I know everybody wanted to be like, oh, he's not. I did it. Like, where is he? Nobody can say. Anyway, y'all. We also have to get into Diddy. So while I was about to go live, there was an update on Diddy, and I want to talk to you guys about this because, yeah, Diddy's about to settle with one of the girls. He's about to settle with one of the girls, and you know what the problem is? I think Diddy actually is thinking that he is going to beat this. Now, let me tell you why I think he's going to settle with one of the girls, because his lawyer put in this weird. What's not weird? His lawyer, Jonathan Davis, he switched lawyers because that first lawyer that set up for Cassie, yeah, no bueno, okay? They want, they said on December 11th, Diddy moved for entry of an order permitting her to proceed anonymously as Jane Doe, okay? Now, they're saying, okay, the order to proceed anonymously as Jane Doe, the judge hasn't ruled on that. But now Diddy's lawyers are doing this weird thing where they want to make sure that all the court records are sealed moving forward, because they say whoever this Jane Doe is, she has a public facing persona, okay? And they want to make sure that no information leaks from her, because the information that's going to be revealed, is going to somehow will reveal her to the public. Now, why would they say that? Why would they care? Spoiler alert, I don't think they care. But you know what the Jane Doe this is? This is the Jane Doe that said that she had not reached 18 yet. There wasn't 18 candles on her birthday cake. Harvey Pierre, the CEO of Bad Boy Records, okay, met her in Detroit, blinked her in the bathroom, was doing unholy things to a can of Fanta, right? He was lighting up unholy things in a can of Fanta. And then he literally put her on a private jet and went across interstate lines to bring her to the studio with Diddy, an unnamed man who people say is like a big producer, Harvey Pierre. Well, they proceeded to brutally, I've actually got brutally rape her. And whatever we've heard in the media, sources are saying that what went down was so brutal, was so disgusting, and was so unhinged that if this gets out, Diddy is done. It's interesting that they are moving to seal court records to make sure that nobody ever finds out the gruesome, dirty, disgusting, bloody details, the Sodom and Gomorrah details. If you get what I'm saying, the details that they do not want out. Now, why would they be doing that? Well, there's a few things that's going on. You got to put all of this in order, okay? Nobody finds it odd that Diddy just settled with Diego, right? And by settled, and this is my opinion based upon information and belief, okay? When he settled with Diego, I don't think it was a settlement. Diego had him. Well, Diddy had a good case, right? Because Diego was being racist, the way they were treating De Leon as like, black people drink that at barbecues, but Casa Amigos with George Clooney and all of them, oh, that's for elegant people. You know what I'm saying? They even tried to make a watermelon flavored tequila, which it is very racist, but it's also a very good idea. But all jokes aside, right? So let's put in like what happened, okay? Because you got to connect the dots. He settled. A settlement doesn't imply that he got anything. What really happened is De Leon said that they no longer have any business requirements with Diddy and that they are cutting ties with Diddy. So what does that tell you? It tells you a number of things. One, it tells you that Diddy was part owner. He was the face of De Leon, but he was also part owner. How was he owner? There's certain things in partnerships where you can give sweat equity. So let's just say we're all starting a business. Me, you, him, her, right? We're all putting in 100,000, right? Or if you want 100, a million, it doesn't matter. So we get to you and you're like, yo, like, where's your 100K? And you're like, yo, I don't have it. So we're like, all right, well, how are you going to be a partner? There's something called sweat equity in a partnership. Sweat equity is I say that I have some type of intangible, some type of intellectual property or something of worth that is a tangible property, but it's not cash, which I can give to the business that you guys, my partners, will say is worth 100,000. It's easy to see what Diddy brought to the table to get his ownership percentage. He gave them hundreds of millions in advertising, marketing, and promomo for promomo. It's windy outside and the tree is hitting the window. This is like an episode of Scream. Anyway, they're saying that if y'all see my eyes jump, as long as you don't see somebody in a mask coming toward me, okay? But don't worry, y'all will see me stop, drop, and roll. This microphone will just be used as a weapon. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, right. Diddy gave sweat equity, promotion, product placement, brand placement. No, say what you want about Diddy. He knows how to promote and exploit everything. That's what he did with De Leon. The thing is, was he paying Young Miami? Because Young Miami was promoting De Leon more than Diddy ever did. Okay. Also, make sure you tune in tomorrow. I'm gonna have some early videos up. I got some juice on that whole Young Miami DJ Academics thing. Somebody needs to sit there and eat their rice. I'll tell you who tomorrow because I got some tea. But anyway, okay, so Diddy gave all that in promotion. Because of that, he got an ownership percentage. He was suing De Leon for discrimination, but he still owned some of De Leon. Think about it. Diddy says he's not going to the Grammys, but Clive Davis lets us know Diddy will be at the pre-Grammy bash. The Grammys aren't important. The pre-Grammy bash, because Clive Davis is still like a little mover and shaker in the music world, lets you know how close people are to being done with Diddy. To me, again, based upon my information and belief, the fact that Diddy's lover, right, is still has door wide open and actually went on record on page 6 to say what are you talking about? He is always invited here. My man can come wherever he wants, right? He probably literally, let me shut up before I get demonetized, all right? Anyway, Diddy is, Diddy, like I said, so that happened with the Clive Davis thing, okay? Now, let's put this all together. You just sold off all your, when De Leon, Diego Liquors settled, what happened? What happened when that happened? They said, you know what? We're going to buy you out. Their settlement was literally buying Diddy out. Now, how did he get bought out? Well, they bought him out of his ownership percentage. How was that possible? Well, it's quite simple. He cut ties with them. They took away, he gave up everything and they happily took it back. Again, in their own statement, they said that they have fulfilled all business obligations and they have cut ties with a one Sean Diddy Combs. So now Diddy is sitting on a heck of a lot of money. So what's he going to do with it? My guess is that he's going to put it in some of his kids' names. Why is he going to put it in some of his kids' name? Well, for one, he has a lot of settlements coming up. He 100% needs to pay for that. But why else would he put that in his kids' names? Because here's the thing. Diddy's not thinking, okay? Diddy is not thinking about these lawsuits that he has in the background. I mean, he is, but not really. Diddy is trying to settle. Diddy is trying to consolidate all his assets. He's trying to liquidate as much of his assets as he can. Because let me tell you something. People are also saying that he's quietly selling his interest in Revolt. Why would he be doing that? Think about it. Because at the end of the day, Diddy has things that have happened in the last 5 years that he does not want coming back to bite him. See, here's the thing when you're guilty. And I don't know if Diddy's guilty, but here's the thing when you're guilty or you're innocent. Nobody can tell you anything. Because at the end of the day, if you're innocent, no matter what anybody says, you know, I'm going to be all right. I didn't do anything. But on the other hand, if you're guilty, people can be like accusing you of stuff. And at the end of the day, you can't sleep at night because you know that there's 80 other things you did, 80 other things you did that nobody knows about. And you're literally praying that nobody finds out. Diddy just sold his things to Diego. He's quietly selling off his interest in Revolt. He's liquidating all his assets. Okay, all his business assets. Diddy has that billionaire sugar daddy. Diddy still has Clive Davis, probably putting on some Nivea lotion right now, spraying on some cologne, waiting for daddy to come home. He's a ride or die, right? Diddy has all that stuff going on. So you still have these powerful friends. Most of them were probably involved in the mess that you're involved in, good and bad, right? So you think I can always rebuild. If you think about where Diddy got his money, he got it through music. Clive Davis, Diddy can still get artists. That's how he got his money, not him. He got his money stealing from artists. He just needs an intermediate. He needs a record exec to actually let him become, to be the intermediate again. That's Clive Davis. So Diddy knows I can always find somebody dumb or desperate enough to let them make them a star. And Diddy's good for putting people on stage and really making them stars. The only problem is you're a broke star. So you still got your connection to make another Bad Boy 2, where you get rich off of exploiting the dreams of others. Check. So he can give away all his publishing rights, try to buy silence, do whatever. He can always get back into the music industry because Clive Davis let us know, baby, Diddy always going to be welcome in his bed, in his head, wherever he wants, right? Then you go to 2, right? And again, this is my opinion. Let me know if y'all think it's wrong. What's the second thing? Diddy made his real money from. Diddy became a billionaire on paper, right? Definitely 100 millionaire. Well, there's Sean John, but we all know that Macy's is like, they're the only ones that were carrying it. It's like, we don't want you anymore. And I would like to know in what country in 2023 are people still wearing Sean John? I just want to know. Is it Bulgaria? Is it Romania? Is it Poland? What Eastern European is keeping that alive? But Macy's just put it into that. You look at Revolt TV. He's quietly selling his interest in Revolt TV. But you look at who was the actual main investor. I know Diddy likes to be the front person and be like, it's me, it's me, it's me. But really, it was Ron Burkle. It's going down with this purple. Okay, sorry. Every time I hear Ron Burkle, I just hear, I gotta stay high. Anyway, Ron Burkle, the billionaire man that is plugged up with the Grammys. That's probably why Diddy didn't get disinvited from the Grammys, because Ron Burkle is one of their biggest things. He controls a lot with the Grammys. That's probably why Diddy was able to say, well, I'm just not going to come. Because had it been anybody else, they would have been like, you disinvited, you can't come. And we see you, we're calling security on you. But yet now that Ron Burkle's boy toy. I say boy toy because Diddy said that Ron Burkle threw him his coming out party in Hollywood on his estate. Diddy's words, not mine. He threw his coming out party and he's not afraid to be who he is anymore. Just saying, right? Ron Burkle is heavily connected to the Grammys, okay? Ron Burkle has not abandoned Diddy. More importantly, Ron Burkle is the person that invested the majority of money in Sean John and invested the majority of money in Revolt TV. And Ron Burkle and Diddy bought him in. As a matter of fact, every major business move that Ron Burkle is a multi-billionaire. Some estimate his worth to be 2 to 3 billion. Real billionaires don't actually say what their net worth is. His net worth is estimates are somewhere between 7 and 11 billion. And that was his estimate back in 2019. This man got money. This is the man that throws money at all Diddy's ventures. So when you look at it, right? Diddy can liquidate Revolt TV. Diddy can let Sean John go to hell. Because at the end of the day, the person that actually bankrolled all of Diddy's investments, his alleged sugar daddy, right, is billionaire Ron Burkle. So you got Clyde with the music and you got Ron Burkle still on your team. So what's the only thing you need to worry about? 2 things, right? Your public image and your freedom. So what are we doing about your public image? Because you got these girls you got to settle with. You're slowly, well, not even slowly, quickly liquidating everything. The word on the curve is Diddy is trying to settle with all the girls that are suing him. I believe it's Douglas Wigmore, and also Tyrone Blackburn. I'm just saying, if anybody wants to get a bag, y'all better call Douglas, or better yet, call Tyrone Blackburn. They're both New York attorneys, okay? Word on the curve is Diddy is settling with everyone that has bought court cases against him. Not because, in his words, he's innocent, but just because, what did he say with Cassie? Oh my God, I got so much stuff going on. This is just what I just want to move forward. Once he settles with these people, by the way, he might even settle with Tiffany Red. That is Cassie's BFF, the songwriter. You know, the Tiffany Red has partnered with the 100%ers. They are actually doing a lot. She's not just talk. They're doing a lot to make sure that there is a fund set up, to make sure that they stop everything Diddy was doing in the music industry, but not just Diddy, all record execs. And part of that, I'll talk about it in a different video, but it's actually pretty cool what they're doing. Go to Tiffany Red's Instagram if you need help or if you just want to see some good stuff going on. But they're doing a lot to even help pay for legal fees and help people that are victims of SA, SH, rape, all the stuff in the music industry. They're basically trying to make real things to make sure this never happens again, you know, but I'll do a video about that. Anyway, getting back to this, if Diddy settles with everybody, and this is what it is, he has a liquidation, he can go. But see, Diddy needs to rebuild his public image. That's why, and that's what makes me think they're really going to settle with these girls. That's why they're now going to have the court documents sealed. Just a couple of weeks ago, they wanted Jane Doe's name to be broadcasted around the world. Now they're so worried about Jane Doe and they want all the court documents to be sealed. Why do they want the court documents to be sealed? Because the one thing that Diddy can't, we got a taste of what Cassie went through, but that was just a taste. She didn't give us all the information. She just gave us a little taste of what was going to happen. When you look at the documents, I think, filed by the lawyer Tyrone Blackburn, he gave a taste too. So did Douglas Wigmore on the second person he's representing. Diddy does not want what happened to that little girl that was flown out by Harvey Pierre while Harvey Pierre was lighting up a Fanta can, right? And reenacting the scene with Pookie from New Jack City when he was cutting up weight and like dancing around, like talking about you got breast milk anyway, right? The whole point of the matter is Diddy thinks that if he can get past this, seal the documents, settle with, because again, if he settles, the girls can't talk, right? Unless it's bought up. And if the court documents are sealed, there's no way it can be bought up. You see? So what he's doing is getting all his ducks in a row. He's liquidating assets. He's asking for court documents to be sealed. He is on his way to settlement. Mark my words, he is going to settle with these girls based upon information and belief. Okay. Now, once that happens, what happens? If the people from the last 3 or 5 years go after him, what actually happens? Well, I'll tell you what happens. First of all, what are they going to get? Diddy's liquidated everything. Diddy sold everything. The money he got, I'm pretty sure he's going to put it in his mama and Justin's name again. Everything he got is in Justin's name or his mama's name. Maybe he'll put it in the twins' names. Who knows? The point is that money will be dispersed accordingly. All right? So what happens? Maybe somebody else sues him, but they see there's no more money. Diddy's broke. He has no assets. He has no property. He owns nothing. Right? So now everybody knows that there's no money. He files bankruptcy. Remember 50 Cent told him, you need to file bankruptcy? No. Diddy is doing this the smart way. He's moving his assets around, liquidating quietly what he can, and then he's going to distribute, in my opinion, the assets to people he can trust, probably his mama, probably his kids. Okay? And then he's going to file bankruptcy. He files bankruptcy. The average person suing him will be like, shit. If he files bankruptcy, there's nothing to get from him. After he settles with the people that have lawsuits, there's nothing to get from him. So you guys better call Tyrone Blackburn and get some cases, right? So there's nothing to get from him. And then what happens? These lawsuits die down. They die off again. What happens? They die off, they do this, they do that. And then what happens after that? Then Diddy starts quietly making his comeback. You see, here's the thing. While he's waiting for all these, why he's bankruptcy and everybody's going to be like, oh, Diddy's bankrupt. He's going to start managing artists again. He's going to quietly start at Bad Boy Records. But this time he won't be the front facing, not at first. You know who's going to be the front facing? Justin Combs, the person that was supposed to take on Bad Boy Records. Justin Combs will become the face. They're going to start bringing on, and again, it might even be a new label because Bad Boy Records could be sued into oblivion. So he's just going to start a new label, right? Let's just say it's Justin Combs or what's Diddy's name? Sean, JSC, right? JSC Records, Justin Sean Combs Records. I don't know, right? Just say it's JSC Records. They start getting artists that are desperate, artists that are talented, because Diddy has a knack for picking out artists that are talented, but also desperate. So, right? You guys start getting artists. And then what happens? They start going, the artists, but you need a record exec. You need a record company, right? Because you need publishing, you need distribution. Who's going to work with Diddy, right? His name is Mud. His name's crap. Who's going to work with, as some people have called him, the hip-hop Jeffrey Epstein? But Diddy already had that in the bag, didn't he? We already know who's going to work with him. Clive M.F. Davis. Clive is jumping at the bit to work with him. It's Clive's dream to work with him. So then what's going to happen, y'all? Right? Then what's going to happen? So now he has his record company going. And he's getting good money from that. He can pick out talent. There are people desperate enough, and you know how it is. Some people just don't care if it's not them. They think, oh, it's never going to be me, until it actually is them. Okay? But, what's the other thing that happens? He starts building up his clothing empire. All right? He starts building up his, not even clothing empire, because whatever, but he starts building up his business empire, having Ron Burkle quietly invest. He finds investments and Ron Burkle invests, and he gets his percentage. He's back in business, baby. He's back in business. See, here's the problem. Diddy thinks he has this all figured out. And maybe he does, except for one thing he didn't count on. You know what that is? I'll give you a guess. Okay, I'm back. The one thing he didn't count on is the one thing Harvey Weinstein didn't count on. Harvey Weinstein would have gotten away with all his antics except for the fact that the federal government came in, except for the fact the criminal charges were brought up. So what could Diddy's criminal charges be? Well, there's no statute of limitations on the R word. But one can argue that if people are paid off, then maybe no R occurred, right? People are paid off, people have settlements, people do whatever. But here's the issue on that. You know, there's investigations right now underfoot. His victims are being interviewed right now by New York City, New York State, and the Special Operations Unit, Federal Special Investigation Unit that brought down El Chapo, Jeffrey Epstein, out of this, that, and the third. But what's the other thing Diddy has to worry about? Outside of that, something even worse, because I'll tell you what, America might turn a blind eye to SA. America might not know what to do with SA. But I'll tell you one thing America doesn't mess with, and that's anything pertaining to the RICO Act. See, here's the thing, and I talked about this before in other videos, but I just want to touch on this. Diddy really thinks that he has figured out the cheat code. He thinks that he can beat this, and who knows? Maybe he's right. However, the RICO Act, more than a few people, including Douglas Wigmore, have said, and Cassie have said that Diddy was funded by BMF, that is the Black Mafia family. Diddy has, the Black Mafia family actually funded a lot of people, a lot of artists, a lot of products. They funded all that. But the issue with Diddy is they're not looking at all those other artists. They're not looking at all those other labels. Baby, they're looking at Bad Boy Records. And if you know anything about RICO, those charges never expire. And if you think that the federal government has stopped looking at the BMF, might I remind you that just a few months ago in the Eastern District of Missouri, they arrested 35 BMF associates for money laundering, trafficking, and of course, money laundering, and of course, RICO stuff. I'm like, and of course, RICO stuff. The federal government is still trying to break apart the BMF. The BMF is alive and well. They are still trying to break it down. And they are trying to bring down anybody that has associations to the BMF. And once you take $1 of tainted money, everything is up for grabs as far as the federal, state, and local government. Diddy thinks he's gotten the cheat code. But one thing I do know in life is you cannot cheat karma. You cannot cheat karma. It might take longer for it to catch up to you. But baby, when it does, it packs a punch. Karma, for me, like taking a pack of Orbit from Target without paying. I'm not saying that happened, but if it did, it's not the same as a man that's cheated karma, some would say, for over 2 decades. Karma is coming for Diddy. And it looks like he's not going to be able to outrun it because he can control the Clive Davises of the world that look the other way. He can control the hotel security that you toss the money and they give you the tape after they sat there and saw you beat your girlfriend's face in. He can control the police officers that maybe were called to the scene and didn't take reports. He can control the businesses he invests in and how he liquidates and this and that. But how do you control people that don't care about your fame, don't care about your fortune, don't care about your money? And as a matter of fact, that they bring you to your knees, baby, that's going to make their career. Diddy's so used to people needing him to get something in life. What do you do when you come up upon those boys with the badges that, baby, taking you down is going to make their career? It's going to take them from district attorney to attorney general. It's going to take them from assistant U.S. attorney to the actual head lawyer of U.S. attorney of the whole world, of the whole country. what do? This is the one thing that Diddy hasn't counted on. This is the one thing that Diddy doesn't expect. And this is the one thing that Diddy cannot move for. And he's not moving with this very, very well. Some people say he's in a state of delusion. I don't know. But then again, hold on. Let me just thank my super chats. Lovejoy87, thank you again for joining the channel. Busy Bee, thank you for being so generous with the super chat. Rudy said Andy Schoen is a co-founder of Revolt TV. Andy Schoen is a co-founder of Revolt TV. We can talk about Andy Schoen in a different thing, but I just want you guys to know there's a difference between co-founder and investor. You can be a co-founder, but that does not mean that you are not a principal investor. You can go to Wikipedia right now. There is Ron Burkle and a hedge fund spearheaded by Ron Burkle that are the main investors and have the money of Revolt TV. A founder be like, oh, we got this idea. But when you bring investors on, you start giving pieces of ownership to the investors. Don't let that fool you. That's why people put in their bio, founder and CEO, or founder and owner, right? Somebody can say founder of 7-Up and they don't own a drop of 7-Up. It just means that this was your idea. This was your baby. But we know how it is in business. Just because something is your idea and baby does not mean that you own it. It does not mean you're your majority owner. It does not mean you're the principal owner. That's why, again, founder and CEO, founder and owner of, that's why people put that in their bios, because it means something. So Anthony Schoen is a co-founder of Revolt, but he is not the sole owner of Revolt. He's not even the co-owner of Revolt. I'm just saying. And ZD, thank you so much for the super chat, said, I think Oddi, Martin Lawrence, and Little Jerome, just to name a few, all experienced riffcraft from their gatekeeper, which made them do crazy stuff. You know what? No lie. Here's the thing. I don't know about the witchcraft portion, but I will say this, and I find it like very interesting that everybody that's in Hollywood kind of goes crazy in the exact same way. Now, again, some people can say that it is, I guess, drug induced, or maybe it's mental illness. But Martin Lawrence, what's his name? Jamie Foxx, all these people are going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and it's all in the same manner. Now, I have heard that there's something called like handlers that give you like certain cocktails to push you past the limit, because let's be real, right? You know, in Hollywood, they expect a lot of people. They expect you to always be on, always look cute, always like there's just a lot of pressure. And if you can't do it, like millions upon millions, billions of dollars, and nobody cares about you, you're a commodity. So maybe the reason they go crazy, honestly, at the same time or around the same thing is because they're giving them the same performance things to push them to go further. I really don't know. I don't know. There's something in the air there. And the funny thing is, we used to always hear about this. And I don't know if it happens to everybody in Hollywood. I hope it doesn't. But it's just sad that, like, now when you see people really making it, man or woman, you got to look and be like, what did you have to give up? What did you sacrifice? What weren't you willing to do? You know? And when you see that, like, what weren't you willing to do? Like, I don't know. It just makes me look at people. You ever see people that are like, you know, your faves, they're like cold, and you're just like, wow, that singer is so talented. That man so talented. That woman so talented. They should be so much bigger. And then you see somebody like Jennifer Lopez. Side note, did y'all see the thing for Jennifer Lopez? She's doing like a Beyonce style lemonade. This is me now. That's like Aeon Flex. I don't know how it's going to be, but Jennifer Lopez is the epitome of someone that is completely without imposter syndrome, which makes me feel good for her. But to me, Jennifer Lopez, you look at how Jennifer Lopez became at one point a bigger name than Mariah effing Carey, and tell me what she did. Because again, you look at like some people and you're like, yo, you should have been way bigger than you were. Like, look at A. Marie. She should have been way bigger than what she was. She had the beauty, she had the booty, she could sing, she could dance, everything. It's not just A. Marie, it's a lot of people. And then you look at somebody like Jennifer Lopez and you're just like, nah, because they even now they keep pushing. And I know there's a lot of Jennifer Lopez fans. Y'all be eating me up. They keep pushing Jennifer Lopez. So I say all this to say, not to talk trash about Jennifer Lopez, but I say all this to say that it makes me think now it's not an accident. When you see people like Jennifer Lopez, you're just like, what did you do? Or who did you do? I'm not saying she did anyone, but it's not talent. And a lot of times the people that make it to the top now that don't seem like they deserve it by consensus, not just me saying that, but like, let's just say somebody's just like, boo, how did you get there? I don't know. Maybe now we know how they got there. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's all. It's just sad now that I look at people's careers. I used to be like, oh, it's just luck. But now I look at it as like, what? Like, listen, somebody like Beyonce, we know how she got famous. She's beautiful. She can sing. She can dance. She's super talented. You look at Beyonce, and Beyonce makes sense about why she's a superstar. She's one of the best performers. You look at somebody like Mariah Carey, that makes sense. Regardless if you're a fan of Beyonce or a fan of Mariah Carey, it makes sense why they are Mariah and why they are Beyonce. Look at Jennifer Lopez. Right? Yeah, about that. Right? You look at Jennifer Lopez, the way, no matter how much her movies bomb, they always give her another one. No matter how much her albums or her performances, like, and they shove her down our throat. You go on to think Jennifer Lopez made a new fingernail polish for Christmas. And I'm not hating on Jennifer Lopez because at the end of the day, if somebody gave me that deal without having to without having a reverse cowgirl on Clive Davis or Diddy, right? But it's almost like, listen, get up there and sing. I would be sitting there off key, right? Like Jennifer Lopez was for the Super Bowl, just like, doing. And Jennifer Lopez is not even that big of a dancer, that good of a dancer. But my whole point in the matter, I don't blame her for taking those opportunities. Anybody for brain, take an opportunity. The issue is there. Yeah, I just look at the talented that should have been more. That should have been more. And like Cat Williams said, like, yeah, there's a reason they're not more. There's a reason. So anyway, that's my whole thing. It's like I don't think it's witchcraft because I don't know if I believe in witchcraft, right? But I do think that there are people, and I think that's when people talk about the Illuminati. People are like, oh, there's no such thing as Illuminati. I think when people say the Illuminati, I mean, granted, I haven't done that much research on the Illuminati, so maybe it does exist. Because at the end of the day, if you had told me this mess was going on with Diddy and in the record industry and in the music industry and in movies, I wouldn't have believed you. If you had told me the mess that's going on worldwide, the evilness that we're seeing, that people are turning a blind eye to, if you had told me the censorship where everybody's scared to say what everybody sees will be happening in 2023, I wouldn't have believed you. I'd have been like, shut up, liars. I wouldn't have believed you. I'd have said you're out of your GD mind. But look what's happening. And we had the way we see straight up propaganda and false BS being distributed and shoved down our throat. And anybody that just says that's not true, that didn't happen, they literally are labeled like, again. But I think when people say Illuminati, or at least when I say it, all right. And I know, yes, I'm not a scholar in Illuminati, so don't like start dragging me. But I think when people say Illuminati, what they mean is that there are very powerful people that use their money to control and dictate what people do. Because honestly, think about it. We're talking about, oh my God, that's crazy. Rich people, not even rich, but wealthy people ain't doing that. But just like somebody that got $10 to their name, that believe if they do A, B, and C, they'll live forever, or they'll look younger, or they'll do this. What makes you think somebody that got 10 billion or 70 billion or 100 billion or 800 billion to their name ain't thinking some weird stuff and doing weird stuff? The only issue is they have money to make it happen. You really think somebody with $800 billion is what? If they need a new heart, lung, eye, you really think they're not just taking what they want, and it's not going to be a million people waiting there to give them what they want? You really think that somebody that's worth how many billion and they're obsessed with beauty, you really think they're not doing anything they can to make sure they stay as young and beautiful as possible longest? You really think that if they don't get a crazy idea in their head talking about some, that if you eat like a newborn virgin's like pinky toe, right, that'll give you like new, if you rub their skin on your skin, it'll regenerate. You really think someone that got 800 billion that's desperate to stay young and beautiful, you really think they're not going to try it? Look what's happening now in the world that we see people doing just because they can. Do you really think? I think sometimes we overestimate humanity. Anyway, hey, what's up, Crystal Cove? Oh, cute. I like your Abby. Crystal Cove said, what about his connection to BMF and the RICO investigation? To answer your question, Miss Cove, the BMF and the RICO investigation is ongoing. Investigators are investigating Diddy on all fronts. My issue is, I think that what's going to stick are the RICO charges. Same thing that stuck with Harvey Weinstein. If it had just remained civil charges with Weinstein, nothing would have happened to him. It's only when it turned criminal that he was done. And none of his Hollywood connections and none of his favors and none of his power and none of his friends' money meant anything. That's what I think is really going to happen. That's what I think is really going to happen. You see what I'm saying? I'm just saying, right? Listen, I'm just saying, I think that humanity is a beautiful thing. And let me rephrase. I have faith in humanity. I really do think that the universe bends. I do believe that karma comes. I do believe that God comes. And again, it is what's going on, I accept. It is beyond me to understand. It was my personal beliefs. It is a cosmic plan. It is set into motion by the Most Highest. There are steps we must walk, just like a baby. As they walk, sometimes they fall, sometimes they hurt themselves. These are steps we must take to actually evolve into the best form of ourselves. So I do believe that there is a plan, and I do believe that, like, my mind is so small, I can't even comprehend the levels this plan takes place and how deep it is. But I also do want to say that I feel like the same way you can look at people that don't got money and they are doing the craziest mess, the way you turn on court TV and you're like, why the hell would somebody do that? It's disgusting. It's the same way people with money. But the thing is, with money, not only do you get every sick fantasy and need scratched, and I'm not just talking about of the sexual nature. I mean of you power rituals. Again, if you think that somebody off the street is practicing Santeria or rituals or this or that or blah, blah, and I'm not disrespecting another, everybody believes what they want, right? What makes you think that people with money aren't doing the same thing? Seriously, especially if you're desperate to hold on to youth, money, power. It doesn't gel to not think. Like I said, and I've always said this. Who wrote it? Let me just leave you like this. I forget what author said it, but like, rules and laws are for the poor. That is the way the bourgeois of every nation have always thought. And it's true. Rules are meant to keep the poor and the middle class in line. Because once people reach a certain level of money, of fame, of success, what does marriage mean to them? Nothing. All open marriages, all swinging. What does faithful? Nothing. What does morals mean to them? They do what they want. They take what they want. You even see that when crimes happen. What does it like? No, 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 no. The Bible was given to the poor. The kings were the ones that wrote the Bible. The kings, and stop saying, "Oh God, yeah, I know." I'm talking about the ones, the kings. The kings were the one that wrote the Bible. The kings were the one that gave the Bibles to the poor. About, yeah, make sure y'all read that. Why they did what they wanted, swinging, doing this, eyes wide shut, the most disgusting things. We're not even getting into when it comes into brutal, violent things that they do. You look at the politicians that lead us into war. You know the type of sick depravity you have to be to literally send somebody's son or daughter to their death for something, for some oil in the ground, for some diamonds, for some emeralds. And you don't just send one person's sons or daughters, you send hundreds of thousands. They don't care. And then they turn around and start another war. Again, it's a different mindset, and one that I'm not privy to, but there are a few books you can read, but we're not going to get into that. There's a few books you can read. What's that one book that every US president that's ever been has read? And it lets you know how the ruling class thinks, how they look at the middle class, how they look at the very poor, and how they basically have no respect for anybody but themselves. They really do believe, right? They don't care what happens to this earth because they think they can go to Mars, or they think their money can create an insulation where the whole earth can go to hell. Children can be fed poison. People can die sick, old. They don't care because at the end of the day, they only care about themselves. Again, it's a really weird way of thinking. And no matter how cold blooded you think you are, I do think that, especially if you're poor, but even middle class, and even if you're rich, not wealthy, but just rich, you still are made to care about the world outside of yourself. Instead of doing some egomaniac stuff like Jeff Bezos, talking about you want to make the world in your likeness. You want to make the world the way you think it should be, as if you're a godlike. Anyway, let me get off my high horse, right? Listen, let me get off. Listen. Aladdin TV said Paul Joseph Goebbels was a German philosophist and Nazi politician who was the Gottlieb district leader of Berlin, chief propagandist for the Nazi Party, and the Reich Minister of Propaganda. Okay. Listen. And this is the last thing I'm going to say, right? Thank you, Aladdin TV, for that. Exactly. Thank you so much. But here's another thing I do want to say also. I think people discount how much money really bores someone. Because I do think that another thing is the more money you get, the more you get bored. And what do you do when you can have every earthly delight and you've satiated yourself? I feel like that's why there are so many people on Epstein's plane. I think that's all that's left to excite you or make you feel alive is doing some sick-ish. Because at the end of the day, everything else that made you feel alive has already been done. I don't know. But I can't ever see a point where I've seen enough, ate enough, felt enough, experienced enough that the only thing that's given me a thrill is Epstein's Island. I just can't ever see that. So I don't know. But that is spoken as a terribly middle class person. Yes, listen. Yes, I'm just saying. I just can't ever imagine that. So in that case, this leads me back to my original point that I used to always make. Maybe the reason while there's so many sickos in music and in Hollywood and all the stuff, is because the sickos get power because the very rich people are sickos and they give other people that are in alignment, right? Power. And then those people, for you to get power, it's not enough that you're good, talented, or whatever, but you need to be down with the shits and giggles, right? So maybe the reason why a lot of politicians are goddamn disgusting is because for you to even get a sit at the table, you need to be into disgusting stuff too. And if you're not, then you're the problem. You're the outlier. You're the person that's shamed and ridiculed and pushed out. Because at the end of the day, they only want people around them